Alright, so up next I got my plastic epoxy. I cut 2 spare pieces of hardwood flooring that I had, this oak stuff, just so that I can glue it up on both sides and have a way to straighten them out really well. And I only have 2 clamps, so I'm going to put the 2x4s just cut in a block. I didn't do this today, I just have some 2x4 blocks. And they're going to help me distribute the weight on the oak. And then of course my pieces and some sandpaper to rough them up so the plastic epoxy will bond a little better. There we go, that's going to be my stack, and I'm going to sand them and glue them up. So you want to clean them up with a lint-free rag and make sure there's no oil on it. So I'm gonna Alright, and same thing, keep them stacked right because you don't want to mess this up. So let's take the epoxy, find a good surface on which to mix it. I have to have a nice plastic salad lid here. And of course it's something I need a knife to open. Alright, now last time I used this stuff, there's lots of air. I also remember that I ended up having to use almost all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze out most of it, saving very little for later, and mix this up. Now this is a 20-minute setting time epoxy, which is good because this is going to take a lot of time to get set straight. Maybe not 20 minutes, but you want to make sure that you're not using a 1-minute epoxy on something that's going to take you 20 minutes to line up. So anyway, I don't believe there's a way to overmix your glue unless you're using 1-minute epoxy. So anyway, and we begin. I cut these pieces of hardwood, this oak, to line up with either side of this, minus, a 1/16, just to make sure that I could keep my fingers on this plexiglass and make sure it's lined up, because for some reason plexi just loves to drift when it's being glued. I don't know what it is, but while you're squeezing this stuff on, those things are just going to want to move. So alright, it's time to unclamp this thing.
Yeah, do it.
I will do it.
Look, moved over.
Alright, now I added something to this because my first one worked great,
What, Daddy?
but Added a couple layers of plexiglass that'll cover that part and make it more rigid, so that ought to help out a lot. But next thing is to clean all this up, and then I'll take the router around the top portion to make everything nice and perfect, and we'll be ready to test it and then paint it. Alright, it's a slow and meticulous process, but I used my I used the table saw for some of it, and I used the miter saw to get a lot of it started since it was a little too deep for the table saw. Just move it over, up and down, move it over, up and down, time and time again until you get it in like this. And this is now my zero clearance insert for angle cuts.